we have a chance for looking at the size of the anomaly on our ground for a very sizable deposit. The question is going to really come down to grade. It's never had a drill hole in it. We're getting some pretty good grades from surface rock chip samples where there is outcrop.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by C3 Metals CEO Dan Simmons. Dan, very good to speak with you today. With all the permits now in hand, how significant is this milestone for getting the maiden drill program at Khaleesi underway?
It's very significant. It's a very significant milestone for the company. Anyone who follows the jurisdiction of Peru knows how challenging and how much time it can take to receive and attain drill permits. And a big part of that is usually through obtaining social license with the local community in your area. And we were able to do that. And we're very proud of our corporate social responsibility programs and what we're doing locally.
What makes Khaleesi such a high priority target, and how do the soil and geophysical anomalies support its potential?
Yeah, at Khaleesi, it's long been one of the top geologic targets in our portfolio. We were able to last summer, about a year ago, actually last August is when we got the surface access agreement in place with the local indigenous community, and it got us on the ground doing geological mapping, identified an outcropping skarn. There's some outcropping porphyry style mineralization on either side of a fairly broad glacial till cover running about 1.4 kilometers across the central project area. And then we ran the soil geochem, and we get excited in our industry when we see big sizable anomalies above 300 ppm or parts per million of copper in soils. And we were able to identify a 1.9 kilometer by up to 650 meter wide zone where the northern half of that was averaging 650 ppm copper, so double what usually gets you excited. The southern half is averaging 950 ppm, so triple gets you excited. And then over the area with the skarn is 1260 ppm, so you're getting close to 0.13% copper in soils. We then went and ran the magnetics and the IP surveys, and the very discrete mag and IP anomalies line up right underneath those high grade soil anomalies. So it's a heck of a target. It's never seen a drill hole by us or anyone else. We're now in a position to drill it. We're fully financed for the program, and we expect to have a drill turning in September.
Can you take us through the design of the initial 6,000 meter drill program and what you hope to learn from it?
Yeah, we're gonna do 14 holes, so that means we're averaging about 430 meters per hole. A few will be shallower, a few will be deeper, but we have 6 holes that we're going to target in the skarn area, and then 8 holes that we're going to target over where we suspect that there's a porphyry. And we'll see what we get from this. If we look at the other mines right around us in the area, when we think of it, the Las Bambas mine, the Constancia mine, Antapaccay further to the south, Cerro Verde operated by Freeport further to the south, along this belt, all are well, if you look at what's been depleted and what's left to be mined, all are well north of 1 billion tons. And we have a chance for looking at the size of the anomaly on our ground for a very sizable deposit. The question is going to really come down to grade. It's never had a drill hole in it. We're getting some pretty good grades from surface rock chip samples where there is outcrop. We've seen rock chip samples up to 2.8% copper and 6 grams gold. But those are rock chips; those aren't drill holes. So we need to see what we get over broad widths and intervals, and what the grade's going to look like.
Dan, how does Khaleesi fit into C3's broader portfolio?
That's a great question, Stephen. We're for a junior, we're a little unique where we believe in running a multi-asset portfolio, just for knowing the risks involved in earlier stage exploration. Just as you probably wouldn't put 100% of your net worth into a single stock, we're not putting 100% of our capital investment into a single project at this stage. But we also have 2 projects that are active and drilling currently in Jamaica. One is called the Superblock project. It's 50% owned. We're joint ventured with a private company in Jamaica called Geophysics Jamaica Limited, a great partner for us there. And that's where we've identified a 5-kilometer gold trend. In the center of that trend is the past producing Penates mine that closed in 2004, but it was historically reported running at 20 grams per ton, so very high grade. We've kicked off that program. We're about 25% of the way through that initial program now, and then We're drilling at our Bells Gate project in Jamaica, and that's fully funded through Freeport-McMoRan Exploration Co., which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Freeport-McMoRan, the largest copper producer in the world. And we're really interested. That's a big boy project. It's 18 kilometers of very strong copper gold geochemistry. We've identified 14 porphyry prospects. We as C3 had drilled into 4 of the 14, confirmed porphyry mineralization, but it's going to be fairly capital intensive on such a broad area with so many targets. So we brought in a partner, and we just announced recently that we started drilling there now. So by getting Khaleesi going, which again is arguably the top geologic target in our portfolio, it's going to mean we're a junior company that has 3 fully financed drill projects going. And as we say here in Canada, that's a lot of shots on net. So, I think that's something that investors should pay attention to, because we expect to have a very news flow heavy second half of this year.
Sure, we're going to be having lots of more conversations as the year progresses then. Dan, thank you very much for the update today.
Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it.
Dan Simmons, the CEO of C3 Metals.